And then I shared it with Carrie, and she was like, "It's great. I really like it. You need to finish it." And so Carrie worked on the music, and I eventually came up with a vocal melody and lyrics for the verses. And we went into the studio with it, but when we were recording it, the vocals weren't quite hitting where they needed to. And I went home, and I just ended up like going to bed and waking up in the middle of the night being like, I have an idea. And I sang a different melody into my phone and just started the song in a different place. It was kind of like a quieter, sweeter place to start the singing in, so that it gave it kind of a bigger arc to go to in the chorus.
Well, so starting at a different place than where you originally started, how did that sort of help what you wanted the song to be about?
Yeah, I think that, the song is about a relationship with, your longtime person, and it's different when you write a song like that when you're older, because you have this whole journey that you've taken with the person, and it goes through a lot of ups and downs. But I think one of the things about, writing a love song when you're older is that you realize there is a goodbye coming at some point for all of us, and we don't know when exactly that's going to be, but we do know that that's kind of the price that you pay for being in love. So the song is kind of thinking about that concept and saying, let's really say what we need to say today, because we don't know what's going to happen in the future. But there's a lot of emotions, I think. There's like layers and layers and layers of emotions. And I think I needed to start the song in a different place in order to go through some of the different emotions that happen with that concept.
Now, you started writing the song for this album a year ago, 2022, and this album kind of some tragedy. Would it be okay if I asked you to talk about why you were working on the album?
Sure. So we had written probably 3/4 of the album, and we had gone into the first session of recording in the summer of 2022. We were slated to go back into the studio that winter at the end of the year, and in late September I got the news that my mother and stepfather had been killed in a car accident in Italy while they were on vacation. So that really changed a lot of things personally, obviously, for my family, and it really changed the direction of this album, because it changed the direction of my life.
Did any part of you want to stop or take a break? Because that would have been totally understandable.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, there wasn't any pressure to continue, not from Corin or our management, or, there were no outside influencers that were saying that it was an imperative to finish the album. And I don't even know whether I was thinking as clearly or cogently as, let's finish the album, but what I did know was that I needed structure and walls and stability at a time where everything faded and seemed to dissipate and blur. And playing music and playing guitar, which is something that I started doing in my teens, that was a ritual and a choreography that I really understood. I knew what to do with my hands and fingers upon a fretboard or the neck of the guitar, but I didn't know what to do with the rest of my body. I didn't really even know how to walk through a room or get out of bed as someone who was grieving. So I turned to something that I did know, and it was just the act of doing and making, I think, that gave the days shape and started to give my life a little bit of shape.
Yeah, when I read that you sort of like found comfort in going back to guitar and playing guitar like you did when you were younger. Like that made a lot of sense to me because it seems so physical, and I can understand that because I feel like grief affects your body, whether it saps you of energy or, I mean, even for me, I felt like I changed the way I was in my body. It's hard to describe, but it sort of sounds like what you're talking about. I don't even know how, like, what words to use, but you just sort of feel different.